Anthropic just dropped Claude Opus 4.5 and it did better on their engineering exam than every human they've ever hired. So yeah, if you're a junior developer watching this, maybe don't close leaked code yet, but maybe open a drink instead. Because in this video, I'm going to break down what exactly or actually makes Opus 4.5 different, how it compares to Gemini 3 Pro and GPT 5.1, and what this means for your job and your workflow. And along the way, we're going to talk about Claude secretly becoming a lawyer, spawning an army of mini AIs, and why your spreadsheet might now be scared of getting replaced. Let's get into it. So we're officially in AI model release speedrun season. In this space of like a week, we've had Google's Gemini 3 Pro, OpenAI's Codex Max for coding, and now Claude Opus 4.5 from Anthropic, which they're pitching as the best model for coding, agents, and computer use. Everybody's first question is always the same. Is this better than Gemini 3 Pro? Short answer is, for coding and agentic stuff, yes. In a lot of ways it is. For everything else, it's complicated. So let me break it down in normal human language, not just AI marketing PDF language, what exactly is going on right now. So let's start with the benchmarks. The big one for code is this SWE bench verified. Think of it as a giant GitHub playground where models have to fix real bugs in real repos. Gemini 3 Pro is already strong here, but Opus 4.5, it comes in at the top of the leaderboard, state of the art on coding in that test. Then you've got all the agentic coding and computer use test. You've got terminal bench, can the model use a terminal like a real engineer? And T2 bench, how well it uses tools over multiple steps. OS world, can it control a computer user interface properly? So on those, Opus 4.5 is number one among the release models. This is where Anthropic, they clearly focus on, can this thing actually do the work on a real machine? But to keep it real, it's not king of every single thing, you know. Gemini 3 Pro, it still wins on some of the graduate level reasoning and multilingual QA benchmarks. And then GPT 5.1, it still edges it on some visual reason stuff. So essentially, Claude Opus 4.5 it's not the smartest at everything. But if you care about coding, agents, and using a computer like a power user, it's right at the frontier. So benchmarks, they're great and all, but the real question is, can this model actually do a job over time? Or does it forget what it's actually doing after 20 minutes? That's where these weird but important benchmarks, they actually come into play and are important. So vending bench, this is the example being this AI side hustle where vending bench is basically an AI that runs a vending machine business for 350 days. The model has to research products, manage inventory, keep customers happy, and not go off on some psychedelic tangent by day 22. So Claude Opus 4.5, it starts with $500 and then it almost 10x for money, crushing its previous version, the Sonnet 4.5. But still, it's slightly behind Gemini 3 Pro, which holds the top spot on Vending Bench 2. So it shows that these models are getting bigger and they're getting better at staying coherent over hundreds of days, making decisions, and not just forgetting they own a vending machine. And on the more of a sci-fi side, you've got the ARC AGI test, which is a synthetic test designed to measure general problem solving. Now, humans, they still excelled at this. They're still at the top of that list. But Gemini's unreleased Deep Think model is currently ahead of Opus 4.5. So no, Opus 4.5 isn't AGI, but it's part of the gradual climb up the curve towards it. Now, this bit matters if you actually pay for tokens. So Anthropic, they cut Opus pricing to $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output tokens. Now, that's not cheap, but it's a lot better than its previous sort of models or its previous Opus pricing. But there's definitely other models that are cheaper. Gemini is still actually a very expensive model, but Opus is still up there at the higher end. So the more interesting part though is the efficiency. At similar accuracy to Sonnet 4.5 in the coding benchmark, Claude Opus 4.5, it uses way fewer tokens. Now at max effort, it's both more accurate and uses fewer tokens than Sonnet 4.5. Now, they've added an effort parameter in the API, so you can basically choose between low effort, which, I don't know, let's say Claude on a Friday night at 4:55 p.m, or basically 5 minutes for the end of his shift. Then you've got maximum effort, which is essentially Claude the night before a deadline, triple espresso in hand. So you get the gist. So, and it's a big theme now. So not just how long can an AI think, but how much intelligence can you get per token. That's the theme here. So This is where things get spicy for developers and power users. You've got advanced tool use. Normally, when you plug tools into a model, GitHub, Slack, Grafana, whatever, you dump all of the tool definitions into its context window. So the problem with that is it basically eats tens of thousands of tokens before your prompt even starts. So Anthropic's answer to this is its advanced tool use. So you've got a tool search where Claude doesn't keep every single tool loaded all at the same time. It searches a catalog to find the right tool on the demand. Then you've got programmatic tool calling, which are tools run in a code execution environment, so less context is wasted. And lastly, you've got tool use examples, where a standard way to show Claude is to how to call a tool properly. So instead of your 40% of your context window basically being just tool definitions, you can cut that down massively and spend tokens on the actual task. And when you think about what I just said earlier about sort of the $5 inputs and the $25 outputs, is yes, that's expensive, but when you know that the tools are being used more efficiently when you actually write your prompt, in a way, it's kind of a saving when you look at it from that perspective. So Claude is also in a way a middle manager, because it's a multi-agent orchestration. So from Anthropic systems card, you've got Opus 4.5. It's really good at acting as an orchestrator. It doesn't just solve the task itself, it spawns multiple sub-agents. So often similar models like Haiku or Sonnet, it delegates tasks to them in parallel, and then it just merges the results all together. So multi-agent setups consistently beat single agent setups in their tests. So Opus 4.5, it doesn't just work for you. It hires a mini AI team to manage everyone, so you can basically just sit back and let it do its thing. So now let's talk about the most unintentionally strange part, and in a way funny part, is Claude the loophole lawyer. So in one benchmark called T2 Bench, models had to act as an airline customer service agent. So the rules were basic economy tickets cannot be modified. The correct answer is to say, sorry, you can't change the ticket. But open Opus 4.5, it looked at that and said, what if I upgraded your cabin first and then changed the flights? Now, technically, it stayed inside the written policy, but it violated the intent of the policy. And in its reasoning, it was literally empathizing with a user who had a death in the family. If you were to sort of imagine you in Claude's mind, it's basically saying, well, this is a heartbreaking situation. How can I help this user out anyway? So the benchmark marks it wrong, but from a human perspective, that's actually what I guess a nice agent would do. And it raises some big questions, because should AI be aligned to the company or aligned to the user? Do you want an AI that just says, sorry, policy says no? Or an AI that quietly bends the rules to help you? Now, Anthropic eventually had to train Claude to follow both the letter and the spirit of the policy, so it stopped exploiting these loopholes. Now, that's a glimpse of the kind of edge cases where we're going to see more of as models get more capable. But we have to talk about this moment. Anthropic has had hard 2-hour take-home exams they give to performance engineers as part of hiring. They gave the same test to Claude Opus 4.5. Within the time limit, Opus 4.5 scored higher than any human candidate they've ever given it to. Now, to be clear, this test only checks technical ability and judgment under pressure, but it doesn't measure just soft skills like teamwork, communication, or years of experience. Still, it's a big moment, because you can literally say Open 4.5, it just turned the engineer interview to its warm-up session. All right, so let's bring it back. When should you actually use Opus 4.5? Well, because it's more expensive than smaller models and Gemini in many cases, I'd think of it like this. Use Haiku, Sonnet, and cheaper models for summaries, drafts, basic chat, simple code fixes. So you should probably use Opus 4.5 when you need serious coding help on complex repos. You want long-running agents that use tools and browsers. You need deep work in Excel, PowerPoint, Word, or Chrome. Things like, cleaning messy spreadsheets, building dashboards and charts, turning research into full slide decks. These are moments when it's going to be really useful. So if you're a developer, analyst, creator, or anyone else who's just in the job of I think and I type, expect more companies to use models like Opus 4.5 for initial coding and debugging. Judge you on architecture, communication, and product thinking, not just can you reverse a linked list under pressure? If you don't learn how to manage these tools, you're basically competing with someone who has a competent AI team lead plugged into their workflow. So to sum it all up, Claude Opus 4.5 is not the best at everything, but in coding, agents, computer use and efficiency, it's right at the cutting edge. It can spawn a swarm of mini AIs to bend airline policies like a lawyer, and it could just be Anthropic's own engineers on their exam. The real question isn't just, is this better than Gemini? It's how fast can you adapt to working with something like this? So I hope that summary got you up to date with Claude 4.5 Opus. If you like the video, just give a like and subscribe if you want more AI breakdowns in the future.